kind of fun. I walked into this gallery for the first time in 2023 after going from door to door to door of every gallery that I knew about in Harlem, seeking out a solo exhibition. It was the very first time that I had actually created an art portfolio that I was cold sending to galleries like, hey, I'm an artist. If you like my stuff, here's some of the shit, here's my background, here's my resume, and would love to, work with your exhibit one day. I was actually preparing for a solo exhibition for a space in DC that just closed. Just completely closed before I could even get the opportunity. Yeah. So I was on hustle, right? And I was getting to a point where I was a little frustrated because people were telling me no. And Dino's known me for a while, so he could at least be a witness. I'm a hard person to say no to. And I thought I was a pretty compelling package. I'm like, I got the connections, I got my own audience, I can sell my work. But I would like to sell it with y'all. Like, this partnership thing is really cool. And I used to do events in my apartment, very similar to this. And I was tired of inviting people to my apartment. Now the entire thing really is just art studio space, and I was tired of inviting people to my apartment because I really wanted to work and then take the show on the road. Very spiritual, not always in church, so I don't like to tell people I'm religious. Very ritualistic, as I was saying earlier. And that was the first time that I realized that it wasn't that people were telling me no, it was actually me being directed. The places that I was looking for, the places that I was prospecting, literally did not have this size, scope, or scale. And I was walking across the street on a nice summer day with one of my best friends, and the owner was sitting on the sidewalk. She said, hey, you over there. Come on over. Best friend looks at me and says, you know her? No, I don't. Me? She's like, yeah, you. Come here. And I'm like, well, come on, man. You can't be that bad. Shit. When black women say things, you gotta listen. You gotta listen. So I walk across the street. I mean, like, not the crosswalk either. Just New York shit. Just like, fuck it. Straight across. And when I walked up the stairs, she literally said, hey, we got an art gal. And I started laughing and said, all right, I'm good. She goes, no, let me explain what's going on. I said, there's either a woman in there that I've been looking for, or you were probably about to say gallery. And that's fine too. But hopefully it's the woman. And I walked right near the door. And when I did, I looked around and my jaw was out on the floor. I still had videos from the first day. I did what everybody else did when they said, can I do videos, can I do pictures? And I had the sneakiest suspicion that they had no idea who they had just let walk. By the time I went home, I had taken screenshots of the video and remade that entire portfolio with my art on the wall. And submitted that back to them and said, I would love to do an exhibit with y'all. This is what I think it could look like.
I had no idea you did that, bro.
Wow. Hey, we got a group exhibition coming up that you might be perfect for. Really? What's it about? Well, we kind of don't know what it's about. We want it to be about music and the blues. Okay, cool. I got a lot of music pieces, so I resubmitted with my music stuff. And then when I got here, like maybe a week before the opening, the curator at the time says, hey, our other artists ain't on shit. And we saw your work. Do you want to do a solo exhibition? And my jaw hit the floor because I'm like, most other artists have years to prepare for shit like this. Yep. And I've been begging for it, and I get a week to prepare. So prepare, I fucking did. And for 3 weeks, Because it ended up being, they told me it was going to run for 2 months. For 3 weeks, every week I was coming in with brand new artwork every single day. I was actually taking art off the wall so I can go back home, paint on it some more, and then bring it back to put on the wall. And they were looking at me like I was a fucking monster. Because I was. Because I was.
Because you are?
Art monster.
We'll get there. And it just that relationship just kept growing to where the exhibit didn't just last for the 2 months that they had predicted. When the other artists that they had sourced or tried to source either came through or didn't come through, my artwork just kept being a feature in their exhibit as well. And they just kept moving into different places in the house. Such that I opened up my show in August of 2023, and my work was here until January of 2024. Literally just here, still hanging up. I had to come in and like physically ask for them to give it back to me. And before I did, I was like, wait a minute. If it's still here again, maybe this is the direction. Hey guys, why not let me do a few programs? Test it out, see what's going on, But they did. All of a sudden, the last curator is gone, and I don't know where she is. I haven't heard from her in months. So it's an owner and he kind of doing it by themselves. Did that for a month, until finally I said, well, why don't you guys just let me be the, resident programmer? I like doing panel discussions and shit like that. I just need a space to hang out at, and I got artsy friends. My folks buy shit, so why not? And the woman did the big one again. She said, why don't you just become a curator? And I was like, nah, because I don't think you guys know. Once you let me sit down in that seat, I may not leave. So in April of 2024, I accepted the position as director and lead curator of this entire space. Once I got here and learned more, because it was poorly advertised, bad website, no social media, all the shit. And I started unlocking the mysteries. I found out that not only was this bigger than any gallery I had set foot in, but by footprint, the biggest Black-owned gallery in New York City.
Oh shit.
Period. And I was like, oh wow. So not only did I think I was gonna, have my work cut out for me, but the vision is still bigger than I'm imagining it. When I got here, we were only curating artwork upstairs. And I mean barely. So it took me a second to get to the point where I needed to have the space where it felt comfortable for me. Even though, I told you about this earlier, the light had already been turned on. And the energy was already being put out. For 8 months, maybe 9 months straight, I'm talking about consistent 12 to 14 hour days, to the point where they told me I wasn't allowed to come in on Monday.
The man don't sleep.
So, were you also creating pieces here, or are you? Yeah.
Yeah. While I was working, I was trying to figure out better ways to get people in.
Right.
So first, it was just cleaning up inside. Second, it was just getting artwork right on the walls.
Yeah.
Third, it was just bringing the spirits and I guess energy, like the enthusiasm back into it. And then finally, I said, these motherfuckers are still taking too long. So I took the seat outside and started waving people down every single day.
Yeah, there it is. Ah,
Then I figured that wasn't good enough because I had to explain too much shit. And I felt like I was wasting my time sitting on my ass just saying hello. So then I brought all my easels over here. And if you go back outside and look to the left, you'll see the stains on the sidewalk from where some of these pieces were created.
Got it.
I had to give the time piece because for that same amount of time, all the folks that knew me for all the other things that I had done in New York City have asked the same question. Where you been? Where you been? Where you been? Where you been? I haven't heard from you. So welcome to my solo exhibit called Haven't You Heard? Harlem's been on my mind.
What you heard, Harlem's been on my mind.
Yeah.
It's gotten to the point to where, especially once I started painting again outside, because I needed to find time to create. But artists were coming in here and saying, well, why don't you just let me paint inside? And I was like, because you're not good enough. And I'm not going to let you stain up the floors. Do it like the real artist. Do it like the real artist. Sit outside and do it. Why do you need a space in here that we don't even get people in yet? Why would I give you space in here when it's supposed to be done by the time you bring it in my door?
Right.
And
So,
I said, I'm
so the
tired
work
of-
area is
I'm like-
actually the sidewalk, is the city.
Is the sidewalk, but there is space for it here because you want to connect to the energy here.
But you don't.
But you
by the
don't
time it
need to
comes the
be,
house,
yeah, no, you
it
don't
needs
paint
to
in the
be-
house, like.
It needs to be all the way done.
That's it.
Cool. All right.
Let me show y'all some of the pieces that I did outside. At first, it really was just a fun activity. Like I was being respectful, just like throwing paint and telling people, yeah, it's more inside. You like this? It's better shit inside. And after maybe 2 weeks of doing it, 3 weeks of doing it, I started getting fucking serious to the point where people would come up and ask me questions, and I was like, bro, can't you see I'm working? Like, just the fucking door's open. Just go. Just go. Stop interrupting me while I'm painting. It started getting serious to where the canvas that I was painting on outside, every week I'd commit to painting it black just to show people again, this is the level of artistry that I want to happen in here. You're so worried about being in a gallery that you're not putting in the actual work. You're not actually making. You're not actually doing the art shit that you need to be doing. So I mean, every week, and then after like a month and a half, I'm like, oh, these shits are starting to get sexy. It got to the point where there was some that I said I couldn't paint over anymore because so many people had started associating them with the space. This is us. This is literally the building. And I painted this right on the sidewalk. People walk up like, well, what's inside? More and better. More and better. This was the last one that I did before it got too cold. And I can sit out there on
So sick.
and the name of this one's called Street. It became a situation where, going back to my earlier comment to you, about the community and like them even reflecting it, them recognizing that sometimes it's not always about like you seeing it eye to eye, but just letting them see you, right? It got to the point where people in Harlem would walk past me now and say, the artist, what's going on, artist? What's going on? You doing good today? Have never even asked me my name, but smile every time they see me.
You need to.
And I say, that's it. That's what it is. My name not important. Or actually, well, they know talking my name is important, but it's less important to tell and more important to do the feel. Started bringing my speaker outside because it's a nice little Bluetooth, waterproof situation. Started doing like literally DJing the sidewalk. And then I took it one step further. I put out a canvas that cut across the entire sidewalk so that other people can paint with me all day.
Robert Lee Newman III.
Robert Lee Newman.
May I ask you a question?
My favorite, man.
Is this you?
Is it me?
Did you make this?
Oh yeah, I made this.
You made it. I'm sure you have a title. I had a title the first time I saw it. Do you mind if I share it? That
Not
is
at all.
non-binary Jesus.
Non-binary Jesus.
Okay.
Because of the bees.
Non-binary Jesus.
For me.
'Cause of bees.
For me, because bees.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Does it have a name?
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
There it is.
She.
Oh, that makes that shit all.
Yo, did you really make a crown with the cross on this? That's sick. I don't know if you did that intentionally.
Oh wow. talking about?
Let's talk about
I'm just
it.
like, because I'm guessing she's a lawyer or some figure of authority. And the crown behind the head is Jesus on the cross.
And like the little halo, right?
Yeah.
I have a
I don't know if you did it intentionally, but it's you probably did.
Yeah. We're in
Well, that is how they set up that thing to have, like, you know, if you're sitting down in the pew and you look past the person talking, and then up there is the cross and
the grandeur.
the
so
whole
that-
grandeur. That's
Yeah.
I see
It
that.
is I that stands before you
Also,
and the
yeah.
Lord.
Yeah.
That type of shit.
Just painting what's there. Did that.
These little mirror pieces were something that I started last year because as you can see, I like to use a lot of different mediums in the work that I have. But the reason why I had to come back and say Robert is an important name, especially when it comes to my artwork, it translates directly to shining brilliantly or shining ardently. So by virtue of like the name that was given to me, my purpose, I guess, is to shine light on people. So a lot of the work you will see has these gold overtones. It'll have like reflective qualities in it. It'll have this metal leaf. And with a lot of the folks in some shape or fashion, there is a crowning that I'm doing. Stealing from Basquiat a little bit. But also making it my own. Because I get tired of people seeing me doing fucking Basquiat cross. Like, come on, man. Like, that's his thing. Like, come up with your own motif. The reason why he did it was to act as a halo, to show how much he valued people and intellect, versus, especially because he had so much work that focused on black bodies and black people and the oppressions and the struggles and strife that we went through. He always wanted to center, again, the mind, knowledge, and like, what we could actually achieve through, you know, our wits. With me, it's a regality that I want to give back to people and all the things that we do. So a lot of them will have very kind of deliberate halos, and some are a little bit more hidden. But that's another little fun quality of my work. And then for my little cityscapes, this is relatively new. So over the next,
This is my favorite piece.
This is really fun.
over the next couple of weeks, I will continue to do collage work in the cityscape situation. I have some that are.
This is a series.
This is a series, yeah, that I started in 2021 with Looking for Eden. So these original ones are 30 by 40, 36 by 48, 30 by 40. So they sit and take up a pretty big chunk of the wall when they're all together. But it was the beginning, it was inspired by the Great Migration. So the rest of these now, with the cityscapes, talk about my actual journey in New York. Okay. And the little eyes that are embedded within the cities, that's my motif. That's Robert III, because I'm always interested in what happens when. Okay. I'm always interested in seeing what happens when all the eyes come together. America is such a place of individuality. New York is such a place of anonymity, where we're so focused on what we're doing that we don't see other people even when we're on a subway and they're like, fuck you in here. But all of a sudden when you look up and you're like, it only takes a few of us to now become community, something different and special starts to happen. So you'll always see them just kind of like walking around with the folks that are here, just lingering, watching somewhere in the background. And I really do like that relief of where we decide to reflect and focus versus where we decide to just kind of tune out and say, you know, it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, I didn't ask, but I did record when I first came here.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's okay.
And
Kim, I heard you had a question.
Yeah, because he mentioned, you know, was it intentional that you put the crown up? And I'm wondering, like, what are some things that other people people have told you that they seen the things in that you probably didn't see when you were creating?
And like, are you asking like, and then like you saw it, like, or either way?
Either way, like, because sometimes when you're, I know, like when I'm in my artistic zone,
Right.
there's certain things that I'm attached to that I'm expressing. But people see things that maybe I wasn't intending on them seeing, but they happen to gravitate from what I'm giving. So like when you're,
As my job, more than necessarily portraying something specific, like I do portraits and things like that, so it's nice when somebody can catch the likeness quickly. I'm interested in telling the stories throughout. So when people come in and say, well, to me it looks like this woman is, you know, sitting there and I didn't even know, I thought she had a fur versus a dog. She's holding a Yorkie.
I didn't even notice that until I just saw it.
Yeah.
But the more like I tell the stories and people kind of give me their interpretations, I add those interpretations to the story as well.
Because I wanted to see if there's some similarities.
Man.
Because sometimes, I don't know if it makes sense, but I done seen art that look like people that you even never knew in your life, but then one day they'll come see the picture and be like, that look just like the last inspiration. I done seen that happen, I've never had it.
A lot of times what happened too is I'll do a lot of subconscious likenesses. So people will come in and say, oh, is that you? And I'm like, oh shit.
I really love the fluid range of your.
Yeah.
I love the fluid range of your like use of from realism, like super realism, like neo-Raphaelite level realism, to what would be cartoons, to like it's not in spots where a lot of artists is. There's a real fluidity in your faces, in your painting. It's like a whole spectrum from when you go real and when you draw in and out of that, and it's really great to watch.
There's I get a little bit of that because, well, I am a huge anime fan.
There it is, yeah, but huge. It's there. Yeah.
I watch that shit more than anything.
Right.
I played sports growing up. I know the rules for most sports, you know. I could have a conversation about teams and shit, you know. But the amount of time that people spend betting on football and memorizing player stats, I could do that for at least 20 to 30 different animes with each character.
Anime is an amazing evolution of literature and visual art, right? Like they had a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Much respect there. So that's where that comes from. Like watching, like I would say now, some of my favorite styles, maybe even just from like a nostalgia's sake, is like this kind of 90s style animating, like Cowboy Bebop or early like Yu Yu Hakusho. So when I see shows that kind of bring some of that back, that's fun. But now there are a couple of like very bright shining lights in animation now. Like one of the best animes that came out in the last decade was Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan. Yeah, some of the animating they do in that shit, like it is so wild and surreal and enjoyable to watch. That's where it kind of gets fun to like play with style of, all right, what mood do I want here? And how do we essentially get to the answer most succinctly? Right? Sometimes, Nicky Giovanni makes sense because I want to talk about art and how dynamic an artist can be. So I'm not gonna do too much there. Maybe the colors, textures, and a little boom, Queen of Hearts. I like it. I like it. This one in particular, I did this Queen of Hearts one because I always come back to that interview where she says, if you love me, you will lie to me. And he says, no, because I love you, I have to tell you the truth. And she says, no. You give everybody else lies. You make them feel good. You smile in their face when you really want to cuss them out. You give me shit because you love me. And she said, fake it with me sometimes. I deserve the happy, the sad, the moments where, again, I need you to be more than how you feel at the moment. And he was digging into her about like the radical honesty of it and like the empathy, but I think it was at a time where we didn't even have the lexicon that we do now when it comes to love or bell hooks or I'm forgetting the guy's name, but it's a really good word called The Art of Loving that I think might have come out in or around that, like might have been after that interview. But yeah, every time I think about that, I'm like, I'm okay with her concept because there's a million days I don't want to do this shit. There's a million days I don't want to do this shit. But when it comes to art and when it comes to like walking the walk versus actually thinking about the walk or feeling the walk, a lot of times when you start walking, your body kind of knows that this is the thing that you're supposed to do.
I'm actually walking.
Yeah, like, oh, this does feel good. Oh, I didn't want to get up and talk to all these people today, but you start doing it, it's like, I like people. They're cool. Yeah, thank you. If I smile at them, they'll smile back at me. Oh, now it's like virtuous. And now we're all smiling and actually happy.
Yeah.
And I remember, damn, this is dope. This is dope. Yeah.
Thank you for the tour, Robert. This
No
is
problem.
really
Yeah.
beautiful. It's and
Thanks.
so personal, and I'm grateful to be here with you. So thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
I'm a latecomer.
Not at all.
Welcome.
Hey.